Well, back again to the vitrectomy under air. The previous reports about the vitrectomy under air in retinal detachment, they all focused on the idea or the concept that one of the advantages of the peripheral vitrectomy under air is to avoid scleral depression, with the discomfort that it may entail to the patient or the crowding of the surgical field and etc. But actually my experience was a bit different, because when I started performing the vitrectomy under air, I felt more comfortable when I performed a self-indentation. Especially that I used the Chandelier as my default and only illumination technique. And with a review on my cases, I would like to tell you first that the Chandelier is inserted at an inferior location. And this is very helpful for me under air, because it ameliorates the view and minimizes the glare. And concerning the technique in details, it is actually a basal vitrectomy, not a peripheral vitrectomy with a broad meaning. I do all my surgical steps as usual. I use perfluorocarbon liquid. I do all the steps until I fill up to the level of the posterior most break, if there is a break. And then I infuse the air and focus my vitrectomy to the basal trimming. I indent all through 360 degrees, self-indentation. I move on with the probe close to the vitreous base, because my target is to achieve the complete excision of the vitreous, or almost complete excision of the vitreous base, without inciting retinal breaks. We had significant results, because if you look at the incidence of iatrogenic retinal breaks, I had a 0 incidence in the indentation group, compared to 3 cases in the non-indentation group. And in the same time, the redetachment rate was less also in these cases. Let us discuss how the indentation helped me in this. First of all, the self-indentation means better control. And so you can coordinate the action of your probe with the indentation from outside. The second point is that the scleral indentation brings the periphery, the vitreous base, close to the field, and reduces the focal length, which optically brings a magnified view without the need to shift something in the microscope and the biome system. And the third point is that the Chandelier itself enables me to have less glare, at least on the upper half of the retina. And definitely when you see here, the probe is almost very close to the vitreous base. I can go trimming and to feel safe while doing so in these cases. But this technique doesn't go without limitations, definitely, like anything. The main problem with the Chandelier is the glare at the inferior half of the retina, because this is the area around the Chandelier tip. And the glare may prevent you from working on the most serious part of the retina, which is the inferior part. And so we manage this with one of 2 options. The simple option is to tilt the Chandelier so that the surgeon can have a better view of the area acted upon. And this can be done by a well-trained assistant, surgical assistant. But the other option is there to shift the Chandelier, to reposition the Chandelier port to one of the upper sclerotomies. We put in mind here that I'm using the Chandelier. So this means that my second hand is not holding anything and introducing anything through the other upper trocar. It is very simple. I just indent for myself. The Chandelier is now superior. I can wander along the inferior ora serrata with a very meticulous trimming of the vitreous base while feeling comfortable and safe about it. And indentation actually helped me to avoid this repositioning and to a minimal compared to the non-indentation, because in the non-indentation I have limits.
You're +2 now, I'm getting nervous.
Okay, we agreed on that. Well, I want to say that in contrast with the other reports, I report that self-indentation may be an advantage and an additional tool for a proper peripheral vitrectomy under air. Thank you.